Hey, good morning, Dr. Prodigal coming to you. This time I decided to come really live and not really do a lot. But it's a wonderful morning. We've had some terrible weather at times. And during these times, I like to just meditate, rest, and listen for God. For the last 2 weeks or so, I kept hearing love, 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 love. So you know when you're hearing something continually like that, then it will behoove you to go and research it. So and this is exactly what I did. I went to research it. Yes, I want to get a little bit more of an angle so I can get this sun into me. But I started out, and of course, as Christians, the first thing, if we've had any type of longevity within the faith, we know First Corinthians 13, the love chapter of the whole Bible. While I took the time to pick it apart in the original language of Greek, and then I also actually went to the Hebrew as well. Um, I found some very interesting things. First of all, the vast majority of the times that the word love is mentioned in the New Testament is normally the word agape, which is a love associated to God. So this love also is associated to God. So keep yourself in the love of God, in the agape of God. God is love. God is agape. The root word for God so loved, for God so agape. So as I kept looking at that, why is it that we have God on the inside of us, but we can't love that person without us? So I'm noticing Jesus was very, very strict in his instructions to the disciples. You love them as I've loved you. Well, first of all, I'm loving you as the Father loved me. Oh, agape. You love them as I loved you. I loved you as the Father loved me. Agape. So you love them, you agape them just like God has poured into you. And you know, I think we get that word love, we take it in the English concept. There's one word, love, and that's all there is. Well, love, first of all, is a decision. There are different types of love that's spoken of biblically. I won't go into them all. We're going to stick with agape because, you know, of course, you know, many can pick up the eros and, you know, the phileos and the storge and all that. But let's just stick with the agape. The agape is what God is speaking. God is saying, I'm loving you and I'm not expecting anything in return. A few months ago, a brother of mine, we were speaking about marriage, and I happened to love Dr. Miles Monroe. Loved him. The times that I met him, he just impact. He didn't have to be in your presence for an hour. He could speak to you for 35 seconds, and your whole life changed. And then we remember exactly what he said 10 years later. So, but you know, we found a recording from him, and I will try to get the name of it eventually. But it was saying how when you marry someone, you married them without the expectation of them having your needs met. But you married them saying, I will meet all of your needs. You know, that's a hard thing to swallow, but in essence, that is what it is. And if we approach these things with that, then guess what? We just went into agape love. Why? Because we're not worrying about ourselves and what can I get out of this. We did it just like God. And this is what another thing that, you know, oh my gosh, he was waking me up in the middle of the night and I'd sit up on the edge of the bed like, okay, Lord, well, I know you're going to give me rest, but couldn't this have waited till like 7:30? But, you know, I looked at that. Before the foundation of the world, the lamb was slain. So now we're talking about someone that's still in I can't even say it. He's still in God. God created before the foundation of the world. God created in the spirit Adam, Eve. You know, he created woman and man, or male and female, should I say. He created them. And that in itself opens up a whole nother door. Go back and look at one of the recordings, Our Complete God. And then maybe if you leave a comment, maybe we'll go deep into that. But that's something that's just awesome. But unfortunately, the reason why I don't teach it and I don't broadcast it many times is because people will take that one thing and run with it. They'll take a one thing and try to make a whole doctrine and a dogma with it. No, no. Let's go back to the love. God, before the foundation of the world, the Lamb was slain in heaven and now on earth. Thy will be done in heaven as on earth as in heaven. So the Lamb was slain before the foundation of the world. Then the Lamb had to come in and be slain through the physical realm. Now that's love. One thing that I have looked at within my life in the last few weeks, I've had plenty of opportunity to keep myself in the love of God. I had plenty of opportunity to love others as God loved me. And I noticed that some people were really going off with me, and I would be okay because of some things that is said in the amplified version. Uh, you can look at the Passion translation. All of these translations have something of that chapter. I would recommend looking through all of them. If you're not one to dig into different wordings of the original language, then look at the different translations we have. But look at that. Before the foundation of the world, the Lamb was slain. The Lamb comes here and was slain to pay the price for us. And it's just so wonderful. It's just so wonderful. So when I'm loving someone, I'm not loving them as a payment or as an investment. I'm loving them because God loved me. Now I had to really look at myself. Lord, I'm out here with these people, and some of them, they go off the deep end. Some of them perform like Skippy the Seal, just as wired up. And I had to look at them and say, how much patience has God had with me? And then I had to really start looking at me. I give you another aspect in that love. Love also receives criticism. Oh, you didn't think I was going to go there. Let's put it this way. I can only speak of me at this point. I receive a criticism from my wife. I have to acknowledge whether it's true, untrue, or possibly true. So what do? Love tells me to accept it. Be like Mary, ponder on it to see if these things be true. And then if it is any portion of truth to it, change it. Repent, change that. I'll give an example. And this is it's a personal example, but it's one that was there. I'm one pretty much as I was leaving my home, I was already in the military. So I didn't even, you have your existence on the streets and things like that. Yeah, you call yourself taking care. But I went straight from the house, streets, or say house/streets, straight into the military. So we weren't taught a lot of things at home. I was only I observed things, and they were skewed. So here it is. I go into the military. At that time, we paid once a month. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking my dad was paid like every 2 weeks, or I think my mother's paid like every week something. I said, wow, once a month. Okay, I'll work it out. I don't really need a whole lot. I got money in my pocket, but I got my food, I got my bed, I got clothes. So I was okay. I was okay with that. And as I grew into that, the first of the month, all of my bills were paid up front. All of my bills were paid, and and I know the adage that we said, we got more month left than we do money. I've seen that as a private when I was coming. I'd be ashamed to tell y'all what a private made back in that day. You would probably look at me now and say, "Oh, you were well below poverty level. You was on the way to poverty rebound." But that was something that I did. So it's stuck. You're talking years that this is stuck, and it works. It works for me because I process that. Well, here she comes along. She wants to add all this other information, and due date is down here, and this due date is earlier, so you pay this now, and then wait to that and do that. I'm looking like January. A, B, C, D, E. I'm ain't looking at the due date. January, I got to pay A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. Now we finished. Now I'm waiting for February to come, and we're going to do the same thing. Have I changed my methods? Not necessarily, but I did listen just to know that there was something there. But I went one step further. I went back and said, why? And as I went back to see why, you would be surprised how many things in your childhood influences your actions and even can damage your relationships. That's the key. Um, we'll go back into money one day, but right now we just want to stay in love. So with this love, I could not receive that from them unless number one, I love God and trusted that God would not allow anything to hurt me. Number two, that this person is not trying to hurt me, but this person is trying to improve us, not necessarily you, but us. And number three, that I can very well be wrong. I know y'all don't believe that, but I can. I can very well be wrong. And that's the thing that I want us to know, that in order for us to love totally agape, we have to be wrong about our misconceptions of love. It is a decision. It's not a feeling. Because there are times that I don't love people, such as, when I've been challenged, my love walk was challenged these last few weeks, and I loved it. But it was being challenged, and I made a decision to get up out myself so he could fill me up and speak through me. And do you know what? Out of one of those encounters, actually two, out of two of those encounters, the seed was planted that I believe is going to bring forth major harvest. And it was with a person that many people would not have talked with. I'm one of these odd ones that God God brings the people to me that others don't want to touch. Probably because of what I've experienced and everything else. But I don't look down at nobody. Yeah, I can get mad at somebody, but what's the use of getting mad? You're gonna stir up all of your hormones, and you're gonna stir up your resistance and your, all of that. No, 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 no. Your immunity goes down. Oh no. But if we stay in the love of God, the first thing that we can think of was before the foundation of the world, the Lamb was slain. And the one thing that I haven't said a lot of, I don't know whether that was before the creation of Adam and Eve or it was after. But I just know before the world got here, God already made a way for us. So when you're thinking of your love now, and we have to walk with that in everyone. When we want to go off on somebody, and this is even with me playing my little card game online, okay, I'm playing my little card game. And I'm thinking, oh, you dummy, why you do that? Then I have to think, that's not a love walk. Even going on an app and playing a little card game, that's not a love walk. Because now, number one, what I've done exactly what the Bible told me not to do, and that's puff myself up. So I'm gonna touch on the end of it. I still haven't gotten this Bible rebound yet, but I'm not giving it up. It's just too much in here. So, no wonder it didn't look like that, because I'm sitting there looking at this like this is First Corinthians 13, and it didn't quite read like that. Mm, mm. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. Now, this is what I'm speaking of. Charity or love suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. Let's do it from the Amplified. Love endures long and is patient and kind. Are you stank, nasty, or are you kind? Love never is envious nor bores over with jealousy. Can't be that. Envious, well, look at what they got. That person got this. That person got that. Yo, he got this. He got that. Where he get that from? Oh man. Well, look at it. I like that, but I'm gonna have me one like that. Well, we have to start really checking ourselves. Why do we need these things? Do we need it to be something more, or do we need it to be something fulfilling? We have to look at that. We really have to look at it. Is never envious, nor boils over with jealousy. Jealousy is a green monster that sometimes is transparent. You don't even know he's there. Is not boastful or vainglorious, and does not display itself haughtily. Well, that's why I can't be playing cards and talking to the screen, because now in retrospect, as I'm thinking of that now, that make a lot of sense. I'm steadily talking to the screen, steadily talking to the screen. He don't know what it is. And then at the same time, on the other side, that person on the other side may be suffering from something that's causing them not to be cognitively sharp, that's causing them to be slow in engaging in the game. And here I'm over here clowning and performing like Skippy the Seal, and wrong. So let's go back and let's start checking our love. As a matter of fact, I think I really want to stay in this vein of dealing with agape. I'll deal with the other ones, but this one of agape, I want to deal with this because it's one that I can't fathom. The only thing I know is that God agape me. And how many times have I got on God's nerves? How many times has he attempted to draw me with love and kindness? And I told him, later for you. And probably some other things, because I may have told his messenger, an angel, there was an angel unaware. Yes, I was a Bulgarian once upon a time. I'm quite sure I was very fluent as a Bulgarian in at least 2 languages. So, okay, the Lord has made me a new creature. Now I speak his words. So whenever you're thinking that somebody owe you something, somebody done hurt your feelings, somebody done did this to you, somebody done did that, I want us to think, are you pouring into that person regardless of the way God poured into you, regardless of yours? I want you all to think about that. And let's begin this love thing, because we have to do something with this. This is where the body of Christ is. So let's do this thing, and we're going to be okay. Dr. Prodigal, coming to you. I'm liking this love thing, because now I have to look at myself. What was I really looking at? Was I looking through the lens of agape, or was I being very selfish and prideful? God bless you. Drop some comments. Let's talk about love.